This is Thursday, the 21st day of May, 2009, and we have just learned that Mr. Mulroney will receive, or his lawyers will receive, approximately $2 million for the fees, I gather, that they will charge for having prepared him and asked the usual softball questions about what a wonderful person he was as Prime Minister in chief before this Oliphant inquiry. And the irony is that the inquiry can't bring or cause any criminal charges, and the Airbus issue could not be discussed, and his answers, which I haven't been able to understand, gave any explanation of why he took the money from Karl-Heinz Schreiber, has left the world in no greater clarity than it was. And his defense for saying that he took the money was, among other things, that he didn't do it while he was in office, but he is paid, or his legal fees are paid, because he was a former elected official. Now, I have trouble understanding all this, and it is so convoluted and diabolically twisted that it reminds me of the legislation created for the war crimes prosecutions. I once referred to that legislation as convoluted and diabolically twisted. That's before the Seifert case and during the Finta case. It is therefore typically Canadian. It is one of the many reasons why people are so disillusioned with politicians, with law, with the legal system, with judges, with lawyers, with the whole ball of wax called Canada. It's one of the many reasons why I've become thoroughly disillusioned with Canada. Watching Mr. Christie play with golf balls in front of one commission of inquiry, and watching Mr. Mulroney banter with Mr. Wilson, who he later shook hands with in a public photograph opportunity, just makes me thoroughly sick of the whole Canadian system. And I think it's one of the many reasons why people have come to the realization that Canada is a meaningless institution, which is basically a tax-gobbling monster, unable to provide either justice or fairness. People are being prosecuted and tried for the third time for alleged income tax evasion, when Mr. Mulroney didn't pay income tax on his so-called retainer for several years and only paid half the income tax, or income tax on half of it. Now, how that got negotiated, I don't know, but I don't think we'll ever find out. We never found out anything about Mr. Christie and the things he did in the Grand Mare golf course. We never found out about anything that involves the powerful or the mighty in Canada. But poor individuals who are prosecuted 3 times for income tax evasion, when they sign the forms and just make a protest, they're the ones that get to pay their own legal fees. So, I mean, how can people have respect for a legal system that has such incongruous arrangements of affairs? For instance, David Ahenekyu is being, or has been, stripped of his Order of Canada, but I've just written to the Governor General to ask a very simple question. Are Garth Drabinsky and Conrad Black members of the Order of Canada? And if so, are they going to be stripped of their Order of Canada? Well, if not, what is the policy? Well, the policy is whatever the elite likes, they do. And this state of what I call corruption has resulted in the realization for me, and I hope for you, that we really must free the West, create a better country where such corruption is not possible. And referendum initiative and recall will mean that politicians fear the people because they can and they must answer to the people. So let us free the West.